E aí, Gus, pra quem esperava que Marathon teria sido cancelado ou eles iriam desistir do jogo, aparentemente não é isso que vai acontecer. Eles acabaram de lançar uma apresentação sobre o jogo, passando por vários detalhes e tal. Pra quem não tá ligado, Marathon é um jogo de extraction shooter feito pela Bandai, dos mesmos criadores de Destiny e Halo, se eu não estiver enganado. E tava com muita polêmica esse jogo. Eles lançaram a beta no passado, se eu não estiver enganado, ou no começo desse ano, e tipo, foi muito ruim, foi muito mal aceito pela comunidade. A comunidade caiu matando em cima do jogo e não tava legal, realmente não tava legal. Tinha uns problemas de copyright, de arte do artista que trabalhou lá, mas foi mandado embora e eles ainda estavam usando a arte dela e tal, que ela criou. Tinha alguns problemas, mas parece que está tudo resolvido e o jogo vai ser lançado em março do ano que vem, aparentemente, até o momento. Então vamos assistir essa apresentação deles e ver como que está o jogo, né? Se melhorou ou não.
Players want more challenge. The whole point of an extraction shooter is that you're challenged to even survive in this world.
We heard loud and clear from the alpha, the world didn't feel dangerous. The world didn't feel lived in.
Tau Ceti 4 to us is this place that really doesn't want you there. And that sort of survival narrative really fits really well with the kind of world that we're creating.
The world needs to feel like there is something sinister underneath the surface, even when the colors are really bright.
You should not be here.
We want to marry the classic Bungie game feel, where you are blasting stuff in the face and it feels amazing, with the sort of high tension of the survival genre.
If you want good loot, you have to go to places where you're taking risks, either risks from other players or risks from AI.
So we have all these tools now, Rook with Prox Chat and the way the game works and sort of how tense it is. I think all those things work together really well.
Vai ter chat de proximidade, modo solo.
You have another Rook. Come on, stop that. No. Sorry.
O jogo parece legal, né, cara? Mas
The Marathon ship is essentially a ship that we sent out.
nesses jogos assim não adianta só parecer legal, né? A gente tem que testar, tem que sentir o jogo. Porque só parecer não vai adiantar. Ainda mais que agora temos Ark Raiders, né? Um dos maiores jogos de shooter dos últimos anos. Eles vão ter que disputar com Ark Raiders. E aí, será que vai dar conta?
From Earth, an Earth that was overpopulated, to explore and colonize a star far away that we call Tau Ceti. In a lot of ways, it's like the tale of humanity trying to go out into the dark void of space, find a place to colonize, and failing terribly at it.
Everyone's gone, something catastrophic happened, and it's not just their absence that's important, it's the things that they left behind.
The modern race to Tau Ceti all started when a mysterious signal came through the galaxy.
The turmoil that sort of ensues gives rise to all these corporations that were invested in this Marathon project, now going, what happened? How do we recoup our investment?
And then layered on top of that is the greed and corruption of all of the different factions and corporations and revolutionary groups.
In our version of the world, we send people out not just to discover what happened, but also to collect from the things that remain there, and those people are runners.
As a runner, you're a biocybernetic mercenary who's traded their human body for a biosynthetic one.
You're not an unkillable god slayer. You are a mercenary, a disposable mercenary. You will live, you will die.
They are not people. You are the person. You go into that shell and adopt the personality matrix that is specifically designed to help you do the thing that you need to do. And you've been hired by these factions to come to Tau Ceti to scavenge it for anything that might be of value.
As a runner, you've left your body behind. You've traveled light years so that you can have access to the ultimate payday.
With extraction shooters, it is all about survival. There are other people who want the same things that you want, and it's up to you to best them.
Essa é a parte mais importante, né?
But there's quiet periods where
O PVP É a parte mais importante do extraction shooter. Não adianta nada ter todo o resto e não ter um PVP bom. Que seja agradável, que seja tenso, seja com muita ação, você tenha medo de perder as coisas que você levou, que você luteou, que você tá tentando sair vivo pra extração. Tem que ter essas coisas. E o jogo é PVP e PVE, né? Também vai ter bots, uns robôs lá e tal. Eles vão explicar mais pra frente que eu tava vendo.
You're listening for the anticipation of something. Could there be another crew in the distance? Did I just hear a gunshot? Did I hear AI just alert?
É IA. Os ambientes parecem estar muito da hora. Iluminação.
And then there's the loud bombastic action moments where the minute something is alerted, the minute you're in that fight, now it's go time. Players particularly pose a lot of danger to you. They can make a lot of decisions that you might find illogical and completely trick you into scenarios. Sometimes the best loot box is another player that you see along the run. So there's a few different ways you can play the game. So one of them is you can play in group, both with your friends and...
Eu vi muita gente reclamando da arte, tipo assim, a arte das skins, tá? Igual essa foto aqui. Exatamente essa foto eu acabei de ver no Twitter e tava um comentário do cara lá reclamando que o jogo é horrível, feio. Cara, sinceramente, velho, o cara que se importa pra ele decidir jogar um jogo ou não de shooter em primeira pessoa, seja essa arte aqui das skins, pô, um cara desse tem problema, não é possível, cara. Mano, eu tô cagando pra isso aqui, ó. Pra essas skins ou tal. Se a pessoa quiser gastar dinheiro e comprar skin e achar legal, gasta. Quem não quer, não tem problema, não vai mudar em nada. É assim que deve ser. Nada, é só cosmético. Nada que influencia na gameplay. Então, whatever a arte, eu não tô cagando pra skin. Se eu tô com um personagem feminino, um robô grandão, um cara aqui, será que desgrama é isso? Cagando, cara. Nessa tela aqui eu não tô nem olhando, tô mexendo no celular esperando entrar na partida pra dar bala. É isso que importa. É lutear, é matar os noob, pegar o máximo de loot que a gente conseguir e sair vivo. É isso que importa. E tipo assim, a arte do jogo, das skins em si, quer dizer, do mundo, da ambientação, a imersão, tá muito bonito pra caramba. As skins é gosto, só isso.
Also through crew fill, which will just match you with 2 other players. You can play solo, and you'll jump into a game with a bunch of other solo players.
In solo, I think the stakes are a bit higher, right? You have only yourself to rely on.
You still have prox chat, so you can call out to other solos, but you are playing a tense alliance game where it's really up to them whether or not they decide to honor or respect that alliance you might have created.
It's all about figuring out what's your investment, what's your stake, when to get in, when to get out, and when to kill the other guy. Being good at Marathon is like playing poker with guns.
One of the things we've really focused on is
making sure the
environments are selling the tone we want to hit with the game.
We've brought a little bit of groundedness, a little bit of grit, a little bit of darkness, a little bit of that mood that kind of is necessary for an extraction shooter to feel dangerous.
Our biggest goal has always been player immersion.
We're trying to keep everything as believable and realistic as possible.
So we cranked up all the material responses, feel accurate, feel realistic. You'll get gloss, you'll get crud and mud. And no one of those things is all that sexy, but when you layer in just a little bit more, responsive to light, a little bit more responsive to the player, things will part, water will pool. Layer in all these different things, the world becomes much more alive. It feels like a real place. And then when you're feeling like a real place and you feel in danger, now your run matters.
I look back at some of the alpha shots and it's kind of hard to tell when it's sunny or when it's rainy. Weather feels like weather now. But like when it's sunny, you get this really nice like bleaching effect. It feels bright. It feels like warm when it's sunny now. I feel like we're just celebrating that color so much more. I think it just contributes to the whole effect.
So we have dead bodies in the game now. We also have like decay on the runners themselves. Like you'll actually see them fall apart. We're actually dropping the body stays there, and the body slowly decays over time as you loot it.
So you come into a room and you see a bunch of carnage, but you see one body is still pristine. You know that their killer is probably close, and you are not safe. If everybody is just a messy goop, you're probably okay.
Audio is a huge gameplay component in Marathon.
O áudio é fundamental, principalmente depois de Arc Raiders, né? Arc Raiders tem um áudio design fenomenal, incrível. Tinha que ter ganhado do Game of the Year e foi injustiçado, nem foi indicado. Isso é um crime que cometeram. Mas o áudio design tem que ser muito, muito bom. Igualar o Arc Raiders. E aparentemente parece que tá bom.
Every sound plays a function.
Os passarinhos igual do Arc Raiders.
Footsteps tell players everything. It's telling you what is the type of threat that's around you. Where are they at? Are they above you? Are they far away? Are they close by? So if I'm in bioresearch and I hear a particular material type, I know, hey, they're on the second floor and they're in this room. Our hero is the world. So we're constantly trying to figure out where can music help reinforce what is the vibe and intent of this place.
There was the discussion about the interaction between score and sound design. And I wanted to create a score that wasn't just like full of instruments you've heard before. The job was, how can I make what I'm seeing, this race to survival, even more nervous and even more terrifying or even more thrilling?
We have 4 zones, and each one of those zones has its own sort of approach to kind of level design and what it asks players to kind of think about.
Vai ter 4 mapas, então.
You're going to start with perimeter. You're kind of on the outskirts of the colony. It's a little more spread out. You got a little bit more areas to be safe and to sneak around, but it's also a little more straightforward.
It really brings this sense of scale. It sits like in our
Se não tiver enganado, a mesma quantidade que lançou no Arc Raiders. Foi Espaço Porto, Cidade Soterrada, Represa e Portão Azul. No 4.
Death is a part of Marathon. It happens a lot, even on perimeter.
E eu sei liberando com o tempo, né? Com níveis também, não foi direto. Esse aqui eu não sei se vai ser direto os 4, né?
Attention, unauthorized runner. You are trespassing in a military security zone.
It was really important to us that the UESC were not trivial to fight.
When you face them on Tau Ceti as a runner, you are the outlaw. You are trespassing.
They have a little bit of this haunted tone. So you can see it. They have this floating locomotion. They have these sparks. They have these sigils over their faces. Sometimes their behavior feels almost like they're possessed a little bit. Like, are they taking in commands from a remote AI? The elite tier is sort of like this dark blue. The mini boss tier is more like a lilac. The boss tier is just going to be dipped in red.
They have these tendrils that latch out and leech onto you and start sucking away at your consciousness.
You're getting into marsh, you're starting to understand something bad happened here, and you're seeing signs of that in a way that wasn't apparent on perimeter.
On Dire Marsh, we've got the anomaly, and it's this strange alien entity that has erupted up out of the ground.
You're really feeling signs that this is more of an epicenter of where things went wrong on this colony.
It's got a different style of gameplay. It's more like a central complex that is rich with overlapping areas and regions that you can find yourself kind of bleeding from one encounter to another.
It's a great map to go in when you just want some action, and you're gonna need somewhere to farm. Each map has different weather systems, it has different dynamic events that can happen, and your approach to them is never going to be consistent.
One of the needs that the design team thought that we should have is more challenging PvE activities.
Each of our zones has these bigger events that don't happen every session, but when they do happen, you'll know they're happening.
Building these types of events into the world shake up your run and make you decide, like, what do you want to risk?
Then you get to Outpost. An Outpost is a more functional, thriving UESC facility. There's scan drones flying overhead.
UAVs
everywhere. There's tripwires. There's a weather hazards. It's a lot of stuff you're up against from the get-go.
Outpost is a smaller map, but it's also a lot more vertical. It's built around a specific building that we call the pinwheel.
It's just this meat grinder of a structure that's like a corkscrewed building that has nooks and crannies and hallways, and it just becomes a real cluster when you're in there fighting.
Esse vai ser o mapa do PVP frenético. Tipo Stella Montes do Ark.
The floor is rated on Outpost and nothing is free. The pinwheel hosts some of the best loot opportunities.
But it's noisy, players are going to know you're doing it, so there's extra risks.
Os ambientes tá muito da hora.
The character you're going to spend the most time with is the zones. Understanding each personality of every zone. That's the storytelling every player gets.
Every time you're on the planet, you can look up and see the ship floating and looming in the skybox, reminding you of why this place even exists, but also reminding you that something up happened here, and you got to figure out what it was.
Marathon has a lot of loot in it. It's a huge pie. There's a ton of different implants at every rarity. There's a ton of different runner cores for each runner. There's over 400 weapon mods. It's just an outlandish number of items to collect.
There's going to be a really interesting period of discoverability where players sort of figure out, what are the pieces that I have available to me? How do I get them? And how do I put them together into something that's awesome?
Parece que tem uma grande variedade de armas também.
You can go through and look at how many iconic weapons have come from Bungie. And it's something that we really want to hold up and make sure that we're matching that legacy.
Visually, they're all really, really distinct and clearly Marathon, but we wanted animation-wise a majority of them to feel recognizable. So when you put them in your hands, you knew how to use them.
Mods will basically allow you to increase certain stats on the guns, that battery SMG. The gold mod, full-blown, turns it into the needlet. The sidearm is a gun that is effective in close quarters, but maybe not too much outside of that. But the gold mod on this gun puts a suppressor on it, and then when I kill something with this gun, I turn invisible. And then that lends it to other build crafting if I want to sort of stack into how invisible can I be.
Roubadaço.
Even some weapon mods can improve stats and your runner shell's capabilities. So there's lots of different ways to raise the floor of your stats so that you're coming into each run strong.
Essa personagem é boa, hein?
Runner shells are a bioprinted body that you inhabit when you go down to Tau Ceti to scavenge the ruins of the Lost Colony. Each of our launch shells is really an archetype of gameplay. So if you want to play like a frontline tank, if you want to play a rat character that wants to sneak around, if you want to find those rats, we have a shell for you.
The idea there is like, have a broad spectrum that everyone can kind of find a little bit of a home to, and then we're gonna build on top of that.
Cores and implants mold the kit into a playstyle that you want.
So examples of those are like, on Thief, I get a second grapple. On Destroyer, I pull out my Riot Barricade, and as it takes damage, it's actually converting that damage into shield back to me.
And these can be used in combination with each other to shift the gameplay style of your runner kit.
São as habilidades, né?
At any point you feel like you don't want to risk anything, or maybe you're down on your luck and you want the opportunity to get back, Rook's your guy.
Rook is a prototype runner shell.
It's a mode where we make it easy for you to just kind of drop into a match that's in progress and run about and try to scavenge as much as possible.
If you are going in solo to a run that's already in progress, you don't have a team, you have a very limited loadout, but you're not risking anything. This lets you kind of get in, grab a little bit of loot, and then bail.
So when you get like a really powerful gun or implant or core, it is unlocking some new space or new challenge that you've never done before, and the loot is helping you reach greater heights.
Faction agents are such a big vehicle for tone and narrative for the world.
Each faction has their own motivations, their own desires, the things they're gonna ask you to do.
We've got Traxxas, they're the most powerful corporation in human history. They have very long arms and very deep pockets to kind of get what they want.
So they might ask you to go and find specific weapons or mods.
Congratulations, runner. Your last performance evaluation was rated on
As facções são os...
If you're a PvP player,
mercadores,
né?
Tipo assim, quem vai te dar as missões que você tem que fazer e tal.
What that translates to is that they're asking you to go and kill other runners.
The sacred thermodynamics of violence.
MIDA is all about destruction.
São os comerciantes.
They're gonna give you grenades, they're gonna give you claymores, they're gonna let you blow the place up.
And they are irreverent and dangerous. They might ask you to upload this malware into a UESC dropship, and as it leaves, it explodes and careens off into the distance.
We have big plans. Explosive, visionary.
Each of our factions has an upgrade tree that you unlock progressively as you gain reputation.
Habilidades.
And along the way, you're going to unlock these capstones that are these special upgrades. When you unlock that final capstone, you're gaining access to
Já tô até vendo, vai ter a facção que vai te dar habilidades de cura. A outra facção vai te dar habilidades de dano, movimentação, agressividade e tal. A outra facção vai te dar habilidade de furtividade. Certeza que vai ser dividido. Cada facção vai ter um estilo diferente. O que é bom, né? Muito mais coisas para se fazer, mais progresso, mais desafios, missões.
Stuff in the market. You're getting gold items.
In addition, these faction upgrades can increase your runner's base stats, and those base stat upgrades are permanent for the rest of the season.
Access denied.
Darius, you know me. Did you miss your last round of maintenance?
Don't search. Don't dig. Don't question.
Darius?
Access denied. Access
Hey, it's
denied.
okay. It's just me.
You're not alone.
The Codex is a suite of achievements, collectibles, audio logs, things that you're finding in Run that we're going to track for you over time. The more you find these items, the more story you're unlocking about them and what their role is in the world, why they're here, who cared about them, why they're as valuable as they are.
I'm repeating myself with these entries, but any fears inherent in the scope of this endeavor seem unfounded.
Within the Codex, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can unlock. Runner skins, weapon charms, stickers, emblems, backgrounds for your profile, and titles.
So it's everything from your first steps on the world of Tau Ceti 4 all the way through to becoming a vid master and taking on the most extreme challenges.
Interessante, tá interessante.
The marathon ship is the hardest place to survive in this game. And if you're not ready to take your best stuff, well, you're not going to survive. It's like a heist for a runner. Cryo Archive is big in and of itself, but it's also cold. It's also hostile.
It's gonna test every aspect of the survival game. Probably gonna be forced to run to players in ways you haven't been on other maps. You're gonna run into basically every type of environmental threat you have faced before. You're gonna fight a who's who of the highest tier UESC units. And the UESC are there in this presence you haven't seen before.
It's really cool because each of the vaults is more successively challenging than the next. And that 7th vault is where you both are going to get the coolest thing, but also where you're going to learn the most about what happened to this place.
At some point in your journey in Cryo Archive, you might start wondering if the UESC are there to keep you out, or if they're actually there to keep something else in.
Nice. I like that.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about for Marathon is getting into the hands of our players.
The biggest thing I want people to take away from Marathon is that it still feels amazing. It still feels like it has that spark.
It takes all the aspects that I think Bungie is really good at. First-person feel and gunplay, the super deep, crazy sci-fi lore, and it mixes up all those things together in a really amazing PvP package.
It really comes down to every single discipline that's working on the game. The animation has to be good, the sound has to be good, everything has to be working in harmony.
That's when the controller fades away, the screen fades away, you're just immersed in the world.
That is what we're trying to live up to with Marathon.
It is a mad dash. I'm not going to front about that. It's a mad dash to the finish, but that's when you got to put in the elbow grease and the extra sweat and blood it takes to get this done.
Dude, what is this? What is it? Let's go. 5 people in the extract.
Março de 2026, tá aí, Marathon. Eles mexeram em muita coisa, agora realmente parece um jogo mais, como é que eu posso dizer, mais completo, mais grande, mais massivo do que foi quando eles anunciaram no começo, fizeram a beta e tal, mudaram bastante coisas. Parece que tá muito mais imersivo, os mundos, os ambientes, o audio design, as armas. E aí, cara, você tem que ver. Eu sou uma pessoa que sou apaixonada por shooter, por FPS, seja o que for. É o meu gênero preferido. Então, vale a pena testar? Pra mim vale. Pô, pra mim vale. Ah, e vai ter um teste, uma beta aberta. Eu não sei direito se vai ser uma semana antes do lançamento ou algum final de semana antes do lançamento. Eles ainda não divulgaram a data. Só falaram que vai ter esse beta aberta. Então, testem. Entrem, joguem, teste. Se não for pra você, se falar, não gostei não. Então, esquece. Whatever. Não joga mais. Só que se você gosta, igual eu tô falando, se você gosta, vale o teste. Aí vai depender de cada um. Eu, sem dúvidas, vou testar. E se eu gostar, eu vou jogar no lançamento. E ele vai vir a $40, já foi confirmado. Mesmo preço do Ark Riders. O grande problema desse jogo vai ser o Ark Riders, porque vai ser o competidor direto dele ali. E eles vão disputar entre os dois. Março de 2026 já vai ter um bom tempo de Ark Riders. Então as pessoas já podem estar um pouco enjoadas. Talvez eles podem ter perdido a mão até lá, com novas atualizações, para aprenderem os jogadores. Então vamos ver lá como vai estar o cenário em março, né, de 2026. Eu vou testar, se eu gostar, eu vou jogar. Vai ser uma variedade a mais pro Ark Riders, porque o Ark Riders é definitivo, é o melhor dos últimos anos. Quando tiver enjoado, se eu gostar de Marathon, eu vou jogar Marathon. E é isso. Agora esperamos para o Open Beta deles para testar e ver como que vai estar na prática, né? Na teoria, parece muito bom, muito interessante. Agora falta a prática. Diz aí nos comentários se você gostou, se você já conhecia o Marathon, se você vai testar, se você vai comprar, vai jogar, qual a sua opinião sobre o jogo. E não esqueça de deixar o like no vídeo, se inscrever no canal e eu vejo você no próximo. Valeu, falou!